Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to another episode of the Channel 135 podcast. This is the show we talk about our favorite things in life, movies, TV shows, and pop culture. I'm your host, Cams, and I'm here with the brother, straight out of the Ranui, Eric. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, man?
We here to talk about Daredevil Born Again, episode 8. But before we get into that, what else have you been watching, man?
I finished watching this doc on more like a part, this called treasure hunting type programs. So there was one on Netflix called ADOC. It's like a Alaskan abandoned city that the military used to use as a base. So the American military bought these already made houses and put it on this island, just for the soldiers' families in it, so that they'll be closer to their families and stuff. But besides that, apparently years before, like back in the 1800s, a notorious pirate, was trying to flee the British, I think, and he put some of his gold, or probably the majority of his gold, on their island. But people have been trying to find it, but throughout when they were building those barracks for the families and stuff, they've been finding cans filled with coins of gold, and then apparently it's worth, his entire treasure is probably like 300 million. So there's like a lot of gold on the island, but it's crack up how these scientists are trying to find the island. I mean, these treasure hunters are trying to find the gold by using science, and it's crack up how their theories don't work out, or they do work out in the end. But it's really insightful. Got some new tactics, especially with the technology we have now, the drones and stuff. It's pretty interesting.
What's the name of the documentary?
Pirate Gold of Adark. It's ADARK.
And where you find that?
It's on Netflix. It's
Right.
one of those treasure hunting things. There's quite a few shows on there, but that one particularly got me because it was about pirates, and I was like, oh shit, true. I thought pirates treasure kind of remind me of the Pirates of the Caribbean. And also like the whole island, it's like, wow, there's not many people there. It's like a ghost town. So like, everything's abandoned. There's nobody there anymore. Only a small portion of the population. So it's really kind of spooky looking. Yeah, I've been watching that, and then I watched Interstellar again. One of my favorite movies. Yeah.
Oh well. Because I think I was trying to look for it to watch it again, but I couldn't find it on any streaming. Where did you find it?
It's on Netflix, I think.
I
spend most of my time on Netflix now.
Yeah.
Netflix and Disney. I haven't really touched on Neon yet until this coming Monday.
Yeah, man, this coming Monday, Last of Us Season 2 starts, and Channel 135 will be right in there each episode. We'll talk about that. Since it'll be cool though, because Daredevil was coming to an end. Last episode of Daredevil was this Wednesday. Yeah. We'll just carry on with the podcast doing The Last of Us Season 2. So looking forward to that, man. Hold on, I'll just close the door.
Oh yeah. The other thing I've been watching is Graham Hancock's documentary as well. There's I think it's called Tomorrow Apocalypse, because Netflix took it off because apparently the archaeology community didn't like some of they didn't agree with some of his findings. So there was a point of time where they took the documentary out, and now they've brought it back, and he has a second season on there too. So I've been watching that as well. It's really interesting.
Yeah, really to me, Graham Hancock, because his sort of theories are outside the box, and if you've like for these archaeologists who have sort of come off the back of studies happening through history, and these are in books and all the work that's been done, like these scientists and what you teach at schools over the years, and it just filters down generation to generation. These teachings, these learnings of archaeology. Like Graham Hancock just comes out of the blues and has his own theories. That's not even. There's no evidence to any of the scientific evidences and all that kind of stuff. He's like got his own kind of study, and it just shows you, like, for those that listen to him and think that's true. Like for me, I haven't even heard any of his stuff, so I know he comes on Joe Rogan a bit, and Joe Rogan, he loves him. He always has him on talking about what his findings are and
Yeah.
stuff. But without looking into it, like what's happened is that all that stuff. Like he's come up with his own theories, and it's outside the gate. It's out the gate kind of theories, but it sort of makes sense in his mind. And if you look into it, it probably makes sense to you too if you realize what he's talking about. But that's without going to
Yeah.
university and studying all the books in there about the same subject and having your own ideas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with it.
so it's like that kind of conflict there. It's it's interesting the way things are turning out there.
Yeah, because it's like there's a lot of books out. I mean, I haven't read a lot of books, but it's his theories are like coming to fruition now because some of the evidence that are showing some of his findings. It's not only him. There's other people out there. There's no denying it. It's pushing closer to his theories now. So it's like pretty adamant that it might. There's probably like a 50-50 chance of it being right and wrong, but it's still if it isn't, then it isn't. But man, I like to have an open mind about these kind of things. It's crackle. Yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like his stuff. Some of it's even pointing to like how our people traveled the seas from Peru and that, because they know that the Kumara came from Peru, and the islanders somehow brought that along with them through. And then, as they travel through the Pacific Ocean, apparently we adapted the kumara as one of our vegetables, same as the banana. And they found some banana plants in the Easter Island. They thought were there 1,000 years ago, but apparently it's more than that. So, yeah, now all these things are starting to add up a little bit. But then again, you can't be 100% sure until there's more evidence or more facts out there to prove these theories. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this kind of sci-fi stuff. It's like, man, all this documentaries and that. I don't know what's wrong with me at the moment.
Man, I think the last documentary I watched was a bunch of 3430s on ESPN, because now the ESPN's with Disney Plus now. If you look on the interface, the Disney Plus ESPN interface, it's pretty good, eh? They've got laid out every single Freddy for Freddy show they've got.
Because I wouldn't just happen to watch an NBA game or a basketball game. I should say a basketball game, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, "Whoa, this is cool." And I hardly ever watch basketball, but I was like, "Man, this is something I could get into now that I have access to it."
Yeah, because if you go on Sky Sports and go to the ESPN icon on there, it's just the one icon, and just go in and you just watch it, either ESPN 1 or ESPN 2. But I like the interface Disney Plus has, and it lays out everything that's on the shows, and it also it has a list of talk shows they've got too, like First Take and the Brian McAfee show. I think that's his name. But yeah, they've got no more laid out, and plus the 30 for 30s. I love 30 for 30s. And the last time I watched was one of my favorite ones that I watched like multiple times. The 30 for 30 called The Guru of Go, and that was about Hank Gathers, who passed away on the court. He had a heart attack and died on the court. But
oh shit!
It was just about his team and the coach and how they did this run and gun style of play, which every play was a fast break, and their objective was to tire the opponent out. Just run, and shoot every, I think, 6 seconds. You got to shoot within 6 seconds every time you get the ball. Yeah, man, it was interesting.
Is it? What was the cause of the just too busy? Too hard out, or
I think he had a defect, heart defect when he was born, and it just caught up to him, and he passed away, which is sad. Yeah, man, that was one of my favorite Freddy for Freddy's. Hey, just because of that style of play, the shoot every 6 seconds or something like that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I was just thinking, like, if I had early access to sports, like especially NFL and that, like how they're doing it now on the streaming things, I probably would have got into it more earlier.
You should watch 3430s.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm coming to think of it, I might do that.
Just pick up a 3430. Just look at the headings because they got really intriguing headings, and just watch them from start to finish because they're good at telling the story. Because they're good at bringing a story out of a sports event,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just cool. It's something that New Zealand lacks. Like we don't have that kind of skill to do that kind of storytelling when it comes to sports,
Yeah.
and it's evident with All Black stuff. It's too behind closed doors. They don't let the media in and stuff like that. But no, it's pretty good, eh?
Didn't they let the media in with was it Canterbury? There's some kind of documentary with that, but then again, it was.
Yeah, I mean,
Was it Canterbury or the Chiefs?
I don't know, but yeah, they're starting
Yeah.
to do it, but it's not really
Yeah, it's not.
what I want anyway. I want to
Yeah,
watch it
yeah.
anyway. They're trying to do it, but it's not intriguing enough. It's not.
No.
There's not much drama in it. It's just I don't know. It's
That's funny
If
you
it-
should say that because when I watched the trailer for that, I was like, nah, don't want to watch that.
yeah. Well, if you watch a 5430, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
there's controversial stories. There's out of it stories, cool stories. Yeah, there's all kinds of stories on there.
Oh, me.
But they're good to watch. Speaking of Disney Plus, I've been watching a new one that's come out, the Michelle Williams series called Dying of Sex. And man, it's interesting, eh? These topics when it deals about sex, like it's real life, and and it's an interesting story because this is a story about a woman who's diagnosed with cancer, and there's no turning back, there's no cure for it, so it's already on her bones, and she's got a month to live, or the doctor says she's got about 5 years. Her survival rate is 30% for 5 years.
Holy shit.
So she could die, it's a matter of time for her. So it's about what do you do? It asks the questions: what do you do if you go to the doctor and the doctor says, "Oh, you only got 5 years to live." Like, what do you do with your life? So for her, she's sort of unhappy with her marriage because she was diagnosed with cancer before, and they said it was they could fix it. So she's gone through the process of having the treatments and the pills and that, and she
the
thought it's
chemo.
gone, but it's come back now. But her husband, her life is with her husband is weird because she's got cancer. Her husband doesn't have sex with her anymore.
What?
Because he's like looking after her, right?
So he's scared you might kill her.
Well, when you're being looked after and you have to eat healthy food, you watch what you eat. It's interesting because if you're married and have a partner, like for her, she's like her partner's all over her, like in terms of looking after her, which is like fuck. I'm 40 years old. You treating me like a 90 years old. Like you pampered me. You're pampering me. You're like being careful, too careful, and where's the fun out of all that? So she's caught in this place where she actually leaves her husband. She breaks up with him because she doesn't want to live like being looked after.
Yep.
Watch what you eat. Like there's a thing where the husband he's concerned about her and he wants to make her life go as long as he can. But to do that, you gotta eat the right foods. You gotta be careful. But she's thinking the opposite. She's thinking, man, I only got 5 years left. I might die tomorrow. Like I don't need.
What's the point?
I don't need this shit. I want to be like adventurous and all that, So this is what it's all about. But I like it because it's human nature. It's a human thing to feel like if you're told you're gonna die, well, what do you do with your life? Do you do status quo? Do you do status quo and just go on with your same old routine? Or if you know you're gonna die, what do you do with those last days of your life? Do you go out? Do you have fun? Do you go out and just be wild and just be, spontaneous and just try attack life? Because when you look back at when she looks back at her own life, she's guilty because she says she doesn't even done anything.
Yeah,
like she's done the plan. Like you go to school, you grow up, you go to school, you get married, you have a family, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Same old
what has
pay.
she done? So she's in that kind of sort of thing, and it's an interesting place to be. It's an interesting question to be asked
Yeah.
for all of us. Like, what do you do? You know. So in her case, she goes out and dying of sex. I mean, the title says it. Like she wants to explore her sexuality. You know, she wants to go out there. She dumps her husband, right, and goes out there and just to be alive again. Like you know, that's how she wants to live her last days. She wants to be in control of it. And I think if you're in the same situation, what would you do? Would you want to take control of your life,
Yeah,
or
true that.
would you let things go as what everybody thinks should happen, or what's best for you? Do you go?
Yeah.
Do you go all out, knowing you're gonna die? Do you just go go
It's
and go
it's
crazy?
pretty out of it because I sometimes ask myself that question.
Hmm?
Just if I was going to die tomorrow, what is the one thing that I'm going to do today? You know, if I was going to die tomorrow, I ask myself that. I
Exactly,
don't know why, but I do.
exactly. That's what I found cool about this program, because this program asks you that question.
Yeah,
You know, like it could be anything. How would you like to spend the last days of your life if you were told that?
yeah, true.
Yeah. So
On the Disney app, it's right there. Amongst the top watched features, and I decided to go. Okay, I'll have a look. So I clicked on it, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll choose an episode. So I chose episode 4. Apparently, these two characters are going to a sex party. I didn't know the full story at all. So I like what you just said. I didn't know any of that. But I just watched the episode, and I could tell that she's sick. So, and then one of the nurses there at the hospital was saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing? You know, I think in the next couple of days or something." And she invites them to the sex party. And like she's like, okay, I'll do this, but it's quicker how they have her talk to herself, and you as the audience can hear it and what she's thinking, like and I kind of like that too. But I kind of got the gist of the story with that. It was probably 6 or 7 or 8 minutes of the episode I watched, but I kind of figured, okay, she's sick, so this must be life threatening because she's going to this party. She wants to have this experience. So it must be like a type of thing where she's dying and she's got to try all this stuff because she hasn't done it before. That's what I got from those like 8 or 7 minutes of watching the episode. So yeah, I'm gonna go check back to episode 1 and give it a go.
yeah, I mean that's the thing, yeah. Like again, what do you do when you get told you only got 5 years to live? What are you
Yeah,
gonna do
bro,
with that time?
that's really harsh too, and it's even worse when it's like less time.
Hmm.
'Cause you gotta be grateful what you get right now.
Yeah.
And it is, it's fuzzy.
Yeah, man. No, I encourage you to go watch it from 1.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanna
So
try find the most
explicit
explicit
episode.
episode to watch first, man.
That's why I stopped it, because when they went to the party, these two characters went to the party, and it's like, oh, you can see in the background there's some people dancing and stuff and that. But then it gets like, as she's going deeper and deeper into this party, things get more explicit. So I was like, oh shit, I better stop.
Yeah,
Let's start again at number 1.
it's a comedy, and it is funny. It's got its funny moments. But I think the relationship between her and her best friend that
Yeah,
that tries to help her in that, like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool. That's really cool relationship there. But yeah, just I like the fact that she dumps her husband and goes out on her own,
But that
because
must be heartbreaking
what the
for
husband
the.
represents to her is what every husband or wife, if you're in that situation, what how they care for you on your last days, and that might take away from what you really want. You know,
Yeah,
that 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 could be what's on a lot of people's minds when they know it's their last days on earth. Again, the question is, what do you do with it? What do you do with it? Are you willing to drop everything in your life to be selfish and go on your own with your own and explore what you always wanted to do if you thought your life was boring? I mean, yeah, you could say it's selfish, but it's like letting someone go when you know they've got their last days on earth. Like, they have
yeah.
the right to be in control of their life, right?
Yep.
No matter what other people think. Yeah, it's it's an interesting concept, but it's one
Get
that's probably relatable to a lot of people, and have imagine and make you imagine if you're in that same situation too. Yeah, so
I can only imagine what the husband's going through. The character, he must be going through some fucking out of it bullshit. Like, I'm a nice guy. I've done everything right. How can she dump me?
Yeah, that's right. It's not about you, mate.
Yeah,
it's not about you, mate.
You gotta be in her shoes, or in whoever's shoes that's going through it.
Yeah, it probably what it does, it brings out for real. It tells you for real in your life why you're unhappy, and it makes you go towards something that will make you happy.
Yeah,
it'll force you to.
Yeah,
it forces you to go to that place.
You have all these experiences and memories, and that's part of life. So if you haven't had these before, it'll be, I don't know, you're missing out.
Yeah. So that's Dying of Sex, starring Michelle Williams, and that's on Disney Plus. If you guys want to check that out, I think all the episodes are there. It's only half-hour episodes, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was something. Yeah, I don't know if they can make these episodes like an hour long off, just him having rampant sex all over the place. I actually thought that's what it was, like some kind of crazy sex maniac woman. But yeah, deeper story. I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, I kind of like those half-an-hour episodes. I think it works for comedy. Those comedy dramas.
Yeah,
and I think it works for those kind of things, and that's what Dying of Sex is. So yeah,
sweet.
I recommend it. Go check it out. Okay, now we're here. We're gonna talk about Daredevil Born Again, episode 8, and we're gonna straight into some spoilers. It's not like we already did some spoilers. Sorry, we did spoilers for documentary Eric talked about, and we did a little bit of spoilers of episode 4 of Dying of Sex, but we're gonna spoil Daredevil Born Again, episode 8, Isle of Joy. Directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. Written by Jesse Wigto and Dario Scarpani. So if you haven't watched the episode, pause this podcast, go watch it, come back and listen to us. We're going to spoil the shit out of this one. So I'm going to do the recap right now. Dex is moved from solitary confinement to general population on Fisk's orders. Fisk also reveals his imprisonment of Adam to Vanessa and watches as she kills him. He promotes Blake to Deputy Mayor of Communications and invites Glenn to his Black and White Ball fundraiser. Murdoch realizes that Fisk is Glenn's patient, further straining their relationship as he contests her anti-vigilante news. At Jesse's bar, Murdoch learns that Nelson was celebrating an impending court win the night he died, believing Fisk hired Dex to silence Nelson. Murdoch interrogates Dex and injures him. Dex later kills his doctor and a guard before escaping prison. At the ball, Fisk blackmails the Squinsey, who is the sword-wielding vigilante swordsman, and other socialites into supporting his port project. Bibi, who is aware of Fisk's involvement in her Uncle Ben Urich's murder, asks Gallo to help bring down Fisk and the AVTF. Murdoch deduces that Vanessa hired Dex to kill Nelson and confronts her. As Fisk starts to tell Glenn that Murdoch is Daredevil, Dex arrives and shoots at Fisk. Murdoch jumps in front of the bullet and is critically wounded. Now, I did some background into this episode, and apparently this episode is, you know how we had that trouble with these directors making the first few episodes, and Disney said, "Nah, we don't want that." Fired them, and told the new guys to come start over again.
Yeah.
So this is the first episode of the start all over again. So what we've seen
is that why it's so good?
Yeah, exactly. What we've seen in previous episodes was a chop and screwed version of what was already filmed, and this one is actually the episode where we start again, where the creators start the whole thing again after Disney told them to start over again.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah, you're right. This episode I thought was the best episode of the whole season so far, and it's got everything. I loved it because
the twists, bro.
It's got twists, yeah, man. And Bullseye is back, and that is, if Joker is Batman's arch enemy, then in comic books, Bullseye is Daredevil's arch enemy, right?
Right.
So Kingpin's there too, but Bullseye is actually the guy that always comes across Daredevil. and is the Joker to Daredevil. Yeah, I love this episode. It had everything, and I had that moment when I found out that this was the start of the start again, and I thought, no wonder, because this I was like, I was kind of thinking, shit. I wish all the previous episodes were like this one.
Yeah, me too. Now that you've said that, and this was the start, it took them so late in the game to bring it back from the. Because I thought that it's just gonna be shit from here on in. But the way when I first watched this episode, I was like pissed off because I was pissed off at the character. But then when I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, it's actually a good episode because I'm actually having a feeling towards one of the characters.
Which
So I
one
was
was
like,
that?
oh shit. Matt. I was actually pissed off he was acting like a biatch. But that was good. That was
you know
an
what's
audience
interesting?
reaction.
Also, you know what's interesting also about this episode?
What's
We
that?
still don't see Daredevil. So
Yes.
this has been Matt Murdock born again, not Daredevil born again.
And
But
Fisk was aiming for Murdoch, not the Daredevil. Well, basically, he was aiming for the Daredevil himself, but he was actually getting back at Matt, like how in the comic books that you always tell me about. It was kind of like that.
but
From
because
behind the scenes,
even we didn't see Daredevil, it was still good.
yeah,
You know, we
it's
hardly see
still mean.
Daredevil at all during the season, and you know, other than maybe I think the last episode was alright, but the build up really, I didn't like the bank robbery episode,
That was dumb.
and a lot of the episodes, you know, they're not boring, but going to me going nowhere in terms
Yeah.
of pushing the story forward. Like we're at episode 8 now, and things are coming to a head. So to me, tell me it took 80 episodes to get to where we are. So what were we doing the last previous episodes? Like we're building up these characters between Fisk and Matt. Like Matt's got his new life now, and there's certain characters that we spoke about before that haven't come to the forefront, like Cherry.
Yeah.
And who's the black girl? Who's his partner at work? Like these characters are supposed to be the new Foggy and Karen, but they haven't been. Really, they just show up here and there. And Cherry usually shows up to talk to Matt. We never see Cherry talking to anyone else, or we never see a side story of him.
Yeah,
so until probably to this episode where they have a drink at the bar, and that's when
Josie's.
Josie's. That's where Matt finds out about Nelson celebrating, which leads him to the
new theory
realization that he was celebrating a court case that he needs to be shut down, and that's when he thought. Did he realize it was Vanessa then, or no? It was after at the ball.
Yeah.
So
it's when I think it's when he heard her heartbeat, then you realize that it was her. She was about to confess something, especially when she heard about Bullseye breaking out of prison, but she knew that he was coming there, and I think that's where Matt kind of clicked on. Oh shit! It wasn't Fisk. It was his mistress. I mean, his wife. Like, damn.
So at the beginning of this episode, because every time they show the they show you a quick snippet of what happened previous.
Yeah.
And that gives you sort of a clue what they're trying to remind you of that's going to happen in this episode. So they show the first scene in episode 1 when Daredevil was fighting with Bullseye.
Yeah.
And Daredevil pushes him off the building, and he falls down and slams on the pavement. As soon as that happened, that they showed that scene, I thought, okay, Bullseye's going to show up again.
Yeah.
And then the first scene is we see a shot of a purple rose or blue rose, and that's interesting to me because in the comics, Fisk's real son is his name is the Rose. So I don't know if that's got a connection to that little bit of Easter egg or what, but we know that Fisk doesn't have a son, doesn't have any kids in this universe. But we see Bullseye in prison. He gets put into general population, and I don't know what comes to your mind when that scene happens, but I just remember the general population scene, and was it the Daredevil one or Punisher, when the Punisher's there and he kills all those inmates in their hallway.
Man, that's a badass scene, bro. Badass.
That's a badass scene. But the Bullseye is scared. He calls out for help, and I'm just wondering, man, is it that bad? Is he gonna get? Because I thought he'll kick ass in there.
Yeah, but you gotta remember his hands are tied.
His hands are tied there.
Yeah, if his hands are free and gets his hands on anything, he can use it as a weapon. Man, this Bullseye is crazy.
Yeah. So, but he's quick to understand that his days are numbered.
Yeah. Didn't they do a bit of a camera trick during that scene too with red and blue? Like there were some shots with Bullseye or just go completely blue. I don't know what the significance of that is, but it was a pretty neat camera trick. But yeah, I saw it in the scene when he had the gun and he's about to shoot either Fisk or Vanessa, and then it goes blue for a bit, and then it comes back to the original film color, and then he goes for a shot. I don't know if there was any importance in that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe something to do with blue, like the thin blue line.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I just thought, maybe, I don't know if Bullseye had to be so scared enough he had to get out of there.
Yeah, well, if he was there long enough, he won't be there. Yeah, I mean, I think his odds of surviving, in the general population is pretty fucking low. Even though he can, kill anything kill anyone with anything. But yeah, he's not Superman.
He should actually do what you see in the movies. What's the first rule of when you go to prison and you're like fresh meat because you're new? What do you do in the cafeteria?
Beat the toughest person there.
Yeah, beat the toughest there to let everyone know don't mess with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bullseye couldn't even do that. That's what you got to do.
I guess, but man, that guy's he's out of it. He's out of it, dude.
The next scene we see Heather and Matt. Because this is after Heather. Is this after she gets rescued?
Yeah. So she's been rescued by the Daredevil, and she's admittedly opened about that she killed the moose, and she's like saying that Bullseye the moose and the Daredevil are like little kids. Little boys in masks, and I think that pisses off Matt.
Yeah,
it's like, fuck, I ain't no little boy.
And then Buck knocks on the door to invite them to the ball, and that's when Matt realizes that shit, is your client Wilson? Is your client Wilson and Vanessa? Like, he gets pissed off and tries to warn her that and there's that line there when he goes, if he's in your life, he's in our life. Our lives.
And I'm like, bro, shut the F up, man. That's what I was getting pissed off at.
Why? Because we were thinking he's going to reveal his identity.
No, I was just thinking the guy's acting like a biatch.
Because, we know Buck knows he's Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
Heather doesn't know he's Daredevil, yeah?
No, she has no clue.
But then, if you think about the whole episode, like, he's throwing clues, man, for her. And, hey, like, even that scene, like, when they're arguing, she should be questioning, why are you, like, why do you care about this? Like,
yeah, I think she should have had an idea when they were at the dance, because, like, I think that's where Matt was, like, at his height of being pissed off. Like, he was just like, I think he was just ready to snap, man, and she should have guessed, are you the Daredevil? But no, she was still asking questions. I think she was just more focusing on their relationship, not worrying about everything outside. But Matt was just focused on, why is the Kingpin doing this? Why is he so close to Heather? Not realizing that it was like some way of manipulating them.
So Blake, he gets promoted to deputy mayor of communications. And the other girl that's always there with doing all the information stuff, she's like disappointed that she didn't get picked to be deputy mayor of communications.
Yeah. So I guess she's playing Blake, eh? Like, she's just trying to find out what really happened to her uncle. So you
Oh,
see
that's
her,
BB you're talking about.
yeah, BB, like, yeah. So she's playing Blake, trying to find out who this guy Fisk really is, pretty much.
And I can say, like, BB, her character, this is the first time her character means something now.
Yeah,
Because the past, like, she just shows up as being this annoying reporter. And she comes
yeah.
up with her
Next minute,
documentaries, her snippet documentaries, and you're like, okay, that's cool. We can get to find out what the people of New York are thinking for these
yeah.
little documentaries.
And that's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's what the character was supposed to do in this program, but apparently not.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, okay, like, so, okay, that's cool. But Ben York, you killed him off just for this, like, for a girl to take over his place, and like thinking, where's this gonna go? Because we know that Fisk had her uncle killed through the Netflix series. I was wondering if they're gonna tie that in this series because that will make things interesting. And I was happy when they did. When she approaches the commissioner, and the commissioner tells her, "Oh, did you know that Fisk's got something to do with your uncle getting killed?" And she goes, "Yeah, I know. That's why I'm doing this." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah,
That ties in a lot of her
yeah,
storyline into the actual story now.
exactly. Because I was just like, how the hell does she tie into the whole story? What is the motive of being here? Obviously, you can tell that the character's like, nah, this is uncomfortable, but she still comes back. But you can, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good now. We see that, so we kind of see what she's up to. And it's funny how she goes, okay, I gotta go back to work. And she acts happy. But just a moment ago, she was like really concerned. She put on a happy face, and then she goes back to the party with Blake.
The scene at Jesse's bar when they're having a drink. Man, I felt like having a drink then when I was watching that. The drink of whiskey. Like,
I didn't expect
my
that.
nightcap. See, I still got my my gold label here. Haven't had a nightcap in a long time.
I think I've finished a couple already since my first bottle.
Yeah. But now they're at Jesse's. And Jesse's look like it hasn't been open for ages. But man, there's still alcohol there and still things in there. Outside of it, it's like all boarded up and there's graffiti and stuff like that. But inside, it's a still active bar. It's a still functional bar. And the owner's there, and she whoops out the whiskey bottle that Nelson. We know Nelson likes to drink because pull out if he wins a case, or and that gives Matt a clue to say that wait, he was actually celebrating a case that hasn't even finished yet, but he knows he's going to win, which gives him the impression that there was a reason why Bullseye was there and he was hired by Fisk. So that gets him more riled up. So he's actually, because the ball's that night, and Heather told him to go, but he was like, nah, he wasn't going to go. But
it's funny that he's like, I wasn't invited.
He did get told to go see Bullseye in prison because he wanted to see him, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was cracking up at that. She goes, oh. And like he goes, oh, I wasn't invited to the party. And then she reads the whole invitation and get, oh, plus guest. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes out the door. Funny guy. Acting like a dick, man.
When he's talking to Daredevil at the prison and he smacks him over, I thought that because part of Daredevil's story in the comics is that he's a guy that he's a hard out Catholic and he's religious, so he believes in all that retribution and guilt and all that kind of stuff. So guilt is a big part of Matt Murdock and how he deals with it in the comic books. That's his struggle or his weakness, struggling with his guilt, right? And this plays on to that when he smashes Bullseye's face on the thing, which leads to his tooth getting broke, which leads to how he escapes. So in a way, it's Matt's fault that they will escape. I mean, Bullseye escapes.
I think his intention was to get him into medical so he won't be with the general population at the prison, but it doesn't turn out that way. Obviously, bloody Bullseye, that's why he thanked him, because now he's got a weapon in his mouth. I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't get that, but I think Matt's first intention was like, okay, I'll put this guy in medical, so at least he'll probably have a day out of the general population in the prison. But yeah, it just came full circle.
But at least the death of 2 people.
Yeah, man.
The guard and the doctor.
3 people.
3 people. Huh. So there's some guilt trips for you. Some more, Matt.
Yeah, bro. Keeps on piling it up, eh? Piling up that guilt.
Yeah. When this little test in the scene where when Kingpin takes Vanessa to see Adam,
Yeah.
and it's like a test over sort of loyalty, eh?
I thought she was gonna grab the key.
And he puts the gun in front of her, and he puts the key there.
Yeah.
Man, that was some cold shit, man. Because
I really thought she was gonna grab the key, man, and take off.
Take off Adam.
No, I thought she was gonna grab the key and might grab the gun and turn on him. But no, she's hard out loyal.
She's hard out loyal. And then we see at the end of the episode, we know she's hard out loyal and conniving too.
Yes,
she's the one that was behind all this, behind Kingpin's back. So it'll be interesting to see next episode how their relationship goes, and that if Kingpin realizes what's going on, because with what Vanessa has done, haven't consulted with her husband about it. So her husband can make moves to figure it out, what the best way to figure it out is. Because I think because she's got found out and Bullseye has escaped, she hasn't covered her tracks properly.
Yeah.
Like she's good at what she's doing, but not good enough that she's allowed Bullseye to be there at the ball to take aim at her or her husband. I'm not sure I'm pretty sure that if Kingpin knew everything, Kingpin would have covered all the tracks.
Yeah, he would have already covered it by then, by the party.
Yeah, so maybe
would have been already sorted.
Yeah, that's right. I like where the cops are going now. The cops that are on the side, because they look like a bunch of like don't mess around dudes now, and like these are the guys, the henchmen for the bad dude now. These cops, I think they're badass now.
Because you can see it in them too. Like you can see it, they'll do anything for Fisk. Like whatever Fisk says, that's it. They're down. Just like Daniel.
Yeah, they're loyal to me.
Yeah, they're really super loyal to Fisk, and you see that
because he's giving them some power.
Yeah,
he's giving them power within the Force. So to reward Fisk, they'll do whatever he says.
Yeah, and you even see that with that when the commissioner is like threatening the other guy to, if he carries on what he's doing to the reporter, he'll charge him with assault, and the guy just does it anyway, and just acts like, "What do you think?" in the commissioner's face.
So the commissioner ain't shit now.
Yeah,
to these guys.
And he's like, the commissioner's like looking around, and like he feels unsafe around these guys. So he's like, "Bro, back up.
Yeah,
get out of there. You're too old, man."
I just want to say that scene where Vanessa kills Adam, that reminded me big time of David Fincher movies. How he has those same scenes.
Oh, to shoot the guy and
reminded me of what's that Jodie Foster movie? Panic Room.
Yeah.
When Jared Leto he gets killed. Similar sort of scene there.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal too. Straight in the head.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think this episode had a lot in it. A lot of drama, a lot of action, and that twist that you said. Like, I didn't know. It was cool that they turned it over to Vanessa. Vanessa was the one, and I thought that was pretty cool. So
that was cool.
Yeah. So we see at the end there, Matt taking a bullet for Wilson, and it'll be interesting to see where their relationship goes. Because I think as soon as Matt realizes that it's Vanessa's doing, and so he wants to know if Fisk knows anything about it. So
I think this
but
will
at
be
the
his
same
way.
time, he saves his life, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because that's just him. That's the way he is, and it just gets so complicated now. Yeah, so complicated now. Vanessa is the true evil villain here, and you sort of feel like, what is Wilson Fisk gonna do now? That's the woman he loves, but she's betrayed him in a way where she's gone behind his back and done things, set things in motion where he never knew he had any control of.
Yeah.
So
and
now
they
he has to
just
tidy things up. So I wonder where that relationship's going to go now. We
he
know
just
that Matt's not going to die. He's not going to die. He can't die. Otherwise, if he dies, then no more Daredevil. But there was a rumor on social media when I looked around. Do you think Foggy's still alive?
what?
Like, do you think
How?
Vanessa had him put somewhere
Wow.
after they took him away?
I mean, I guess they can bring him back, but what? Wow. Nah, shit. They'll be out of it. Yeah, and that's an interesting plot, eh? Because it's, man, I don't know what Fisk is going to do, but it might be worse than her having an affair. And she just went through the biggest test, and she succeeded. So what's going to happen now?
Mm.
She went around behind his back and did a hit without his permission. So it's like, I don't, in the old mobile movies, they usually get dumbed over for that.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen to her?
Yeah.
Disloyalty. One of my favorite scenes though is when they're on the dance floor, right? And Matt and Heather are having an argument, and Matt's heading towards Fisk, but then Vanessa sees this, and then she decides, comes in. Oh, and let's do our first dance while they're dancing on the dance floor, and Fisk knows that the devil can hear him, and he goes, "What are you looking for, devil?"
Yeah.
Like just casually talking.
Yeah.
But Matt can hear it. I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, that's badass!"
That's meaning.
Yeah, because he knows that Matt can hear him. I was like, "Whoa!" And he was like, "What are you listening to? What's wrong with you, Matt?"
I was laughing at the scene when Matt was talking to Heather, but as she was talking,
Yeah,
he was looking at the direction
Like
of where Wilson and listening, and when Heather was like, "Are you listening to me?"
you're
And he
not
was,
even listening to me.
You're not even listening to me. How many times does that happen to you, man? How many times does that happen to guys, man? When
All
their
the
wife or
time.
girlfriend's talking to them, and you're not even listening. Like,
My problem is if it's something like a mean ass fruit dish that walks past her or behind her, and I'll be like, "Ooh," and she'll be talking. I'll be like, "Man, that looks nice." And she's
man,
just like,
girls get
"What looks nice?
mad,
What looks
man.
nice?"
Girls get mad if you don't listen to them, man. Like those
Fuck
kind
it,
of
bro.
moments when I know they might be talking to you. You're watching TV, and they'll be talking to you, and what do you say?
Can't
Like,
even hear them.
hey man, I'm watching TV, man.
You can't even hear them. It's like I didn't hear them, man. If I'm engaged in the show, it's like everything on the outside besides that show is on, man. It's on. I was like, shit, crack up. And I saw that I cracked up laughing too at that. And he's just like, those who know, you can hear her voice. It kind of just fades away, and then you hear Fisk with his conversation. I was cracking up laughing. That's exactly
But man, how long was that conversation?
I don't know.
So and we go back to Daredevil when he's still listening. It's like, man, you missed the whole fucking page of words Heather was saying.
Yeah, like a big
during
piece.
During that time, Kingpin was talking to a swordsman.
Oh
Shit.
man, I didn't even know that guy was the swordsman. There was
Yeah.
another oh shit, true.
Mm.
Hit the nail right on the head.
I think also the storyline for the whole series, if we're gonna build to, because in the comic books, the one of the things Mayor Fisk does in the comics is he puts a ban on vigilantes in New York City.
Yeah,
and that includes Spider-Man. If this was leading up to that, if they were going to use that storyline in the comic books and this TV series, then I think they did a bad job in giving us who's out there being the vigilante. Like, obviously, they showed us the White Tiger, then they showed us Swordsman.
yeah.
He mentioned Spider-Man.
Yep.
In the early episode, and there's Daredevil, which is pretty not much around, but there's no other context, right? So unless we know that there's a whole bunch of vigilantes out there, and we know that Marvel has a whole bunch of characters, like who else are we seeing? Or we're not relying on just what Wilson Fisk is saying.
Yeah.
Like we know Wilson Fisk doesn't like vigilantes; he wants the ban of vigilantes, but we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it as audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no way to it, eh? Well, one vigilante.
Yeah.
Daredevil. And he's been out of retirement for ages.
Yeah,
so yeah, there's no way to that. Come to think of it. good spotting.
So we got the last episode happening on Wednesday. What do you think's gonna happen?
It looks like it's going to be a build up for season 2.
Mm.
I mean, we might see the conclusion to, and I hope they like at the end of the episode, and then you see Foggy with a resuscitator on her main in the mask of the hospital somewhere. I'm gonna be pissed off if I see that. But I'm hoping it's not.
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be a big, massive lead up to season 2.
Yeah, I hope there's gonna be the action. I hope it's not an episode where Matt's in hospital all episode.
That's what I was thinking.
And then he comes out at the end of it, and then
season 2
to be continued for season 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're gonna see some sort of resolution or some sort of what's next step between Vanessa and Kingpin. It'll be interesting now that Kingpin knows what's going on, how he deals with it with Vanessa.
Yeah, because his first thoughts when Matt blocked the Vanessa will be, "What the fuck? Why is this guy saving my life?" And then once he gets talking to Matt and finds out, things could hit south for Vanessa very quickly. If I was her, I'll pack my bags and leave right now.
Bullseye's pissed off at Orson Fisk or Vanessa, or both of them, Or
I don't think he cares. I think he just wants them both dead. I think he wants just want them out of the equation. Like, man, I must get these guys off my back by killing them.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to the next episode to see what happens, resolve it, and then moving on to season 2, which I think comes out soon. I think there's not going to be a long wait in between seasons. That's what I heard, but I'll check that. But yeah, I'm glad that now we can focus on the new parts of Daredevil.
Yes.
From now on, we're seeing the rewrites, right? Yep. So hopefully this season's good. I mean, this episode was really good. It's the best episode of season 1 so far. And I hope the same intensity, same energy, same storylines, same sort of thing happens in the rest of the episodes that are coming up. And something tells me it will be like that. The Punisher, we haven't seen the Punisher yet. Maybe he's going to show up sometime next episode.
I'm not happy for it. I am happy for it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think there'll be more of a probably Bullseye might get resolved somehow. I don't know. Daredevil might take him out.
Yeah,
there's got to be something there. Can't keep that guy alive too long. Fuck, he's dangerous. He's got to take him out, man. Shit.
Sweet. Got anything more on that?
Nah. I think we've peeled it back pretty much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So tune in to our next episode. We're gonna do Last of Us season 2 starts tomorrow, Monday, and Sunday today, and so season 2 of Last of Us will start tomorrow. We'll be watching that, and then we'll do episodes on that. I'll see if any of the other boys will be watching that. See if they're keen to jump on too.
Yeah,
man,
that's a good show, eh?
It's a good show.
Apocalyptic world. That's the best, one of the best ones out there.
Looking forward to recording that with you, bro. Yeah, man, and then we'll do the final episode of Daredevil when it comes out after Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Thanks for jumping on again.
Thank you.
We'll let you go and do this again. All right.
Bye. All good. Thank you, bro.